Right, let's get this off here. I want to. Oh God. It's tight in this one. It's all a load of hype. So, and when you see how simple all this is, taking it apart, you're going to say, well, why did you do it earlier? It's not a big deal. No, but it's just... You see, it's all about inspiration and feeling like doing something and feeling down and out sort of thing and depressed. And I get depression, and sometimes I just, I forgot I've got to take this frigging tape off here, haven't I? Sometimes one just feels like, what's the point? I mean, what's the point? If they're going to get rid of us, and that looks like what's going to happen, like they're trying to get rid of us and put us in these flipping not concentration camps strict like the Germans, but similar or some of that. They're gonna, if you don't take the vaccine, they're gonna say, well, we'll have to put you in an isolation camp. That's what some people are saying, but on the other side of the coin, then someone might say, well, that's just fear mongering. That's just another version. That's another group of people fear mongering. Well, the question is, what is the reality? Oops, there's my other cord just popped out. The question is, what is real, what isn't real, what is the real? It's all fear, basically. It's all fear, no matter which way you look. It's the government, the government spreading fear, individuals or conspiracy theories, spreading fear. You just can't get away from it. Every which way you look for some hope, you're confronted with a story that pisses you off. And you're thinking, well, there's got to be some positive news out there. There must be something good out there. And everywhere you look, you hit another story that's even worse than the last one. And that's why we're all getting depressed and fed up. I remember I had to put this tape on, and that's where they want us. They want us in this situation. And I heard that they're even preventing people from buying alcohol. I mean, people are turning to alcohol to drown their sorrows and their misery, and you've got to ask yourself, why on earth would they do that? They're closing the pubs down, and alcohol's supposed to kill viruses. Take the other car out. That's the one I made with the steel shims. Those two are. So, no matter what you do, no matter what we do, we're left without any options, basically. Because if you go and protest in the street, they arrest you. And if you go and oh shit, my computer's gone to oh shit, has it crashed on me? What's happened? Where's my mouse gone? Where's my mouse gone? Oh, I thought my computer crashed, so I need to take the sleep mode off. I hope it doesn't do that. I hope it doesn't crash on me. Right, I'll take the sleep mode off. And so they're cutting off, they're basically isolating us with this lockdown. into situations of helplessness, hopelessness, and you can't see your friends. When human beings need company, they need to socialise. That's what human beings are, the social people, the social creatures. So if you go and do research about the differences between certain animals and humans, and there are social creatures like certain, even monkeys and chimpanzees, they like to socialise, they like to group up together, come together and hug, and it's a natural thing. Take that away, that is like being put into isolation. And they've done studies with astronauts out in space, and they know, we all know this study where somebody that's on a spaceship on their own for months at a time, they would start to lose their mind, they would start to basically go crazy or insane. So we asked the question, is this deliberate? Is this an experiment to all the years of studies that they've been doing on us in the psychiatric wards, knowing that human beings need to socialise, knowing that human beings need to be in groups and talk and be able to, all that, and they're deliberately using all of the attributes that are bad for humans and social creatures. They're using all of those attributes against us right now by this lockdown, if you think about it. Blocking our ability to our contact. And everything that we can do is monitored on the internet, so everything is basically, I've just realised some of these cars are actually soldered, sorry, some of these cars are glued on, and I'm going to have trouble getting them off. I might be alright. I'll find out. That one comes off. These are glued onto the steel cores that I put on originally. I actually put these plastic studs with a ball bearing on the end to offset the balance on these cores, to change the resonant frequency so it wouldn't be it wouldn't ring with the other coil on the other side, and it can basically cause what's called the third harmonic. So I'll put those on so that I won't get that third harmonic problem, so there was a slight phase shifting, so that when the signals were sent through the core material. So now what I've got to do now is take these off. Oops, like that, the whole thing. I want my elastic bands off here as well. I might need them. This one off. That. Right, got that one off. Right, so I'll get my other two. I'll get those. I'll take the dummy bobbins off here now because I won't need them. Hang on. Right, I really want the two males on the, let's see, I want the two males on the bottom. I don't suppose it matters. one on, I'll go and disassemble the other half so I can get the 2 males. Okay, that was a bit loose, but it'd be alright. Oh, damn it. Yeah, this is the tricky part. I've got to put the bobbins on, these on. Maybe I should put them on after I test fit these, so I've got less in my way. Let's just check. Yeah, I'm going to need some more. I need some more ferrite cores. I'm going to have to either get them off here without breaking them. I have to melt the super glue with some acetone. I'll try that first. I don't know if I can get them off, or I could heat them. Oh, look at that, my glue stuck to my acetone thingy. I'll just see if I can get it off first. Oh, it's sticky as hell. I think I'm just going to go and look, see if I can get another, because I'm going to get super glue all on my hands. Yeah, I'm just going to there's always a problem. I need some more. Oh, I can nick them out of here again. Yeah, I keep nicking them out of here and putting them back in. Well, I'll just get them off here. There's 2 in there, so let's see. There's 2 stuck together. On there. It's 2 too many. I might have to split them again. Oh yeah, I only want 1 on each side, so oh, there's a ring in that one. Actually, I might be alright. Let's see. I might be alright. There's 1 in there already, so, and I only want 1 in each, because there's the other ferrite is attached to the bracket, you see. So let's see now. Oops. Maybe better if I face the wire up. I'm going to snap them off again. It always usually happens. Well, it doesn't always, but it often happens. Right, where's that core? That core is in there. Actually, I dropped a core. Yeah, I've just realised there's probably going to be a slight air gap on these because of the way these cores and the brackets are recessed slightly. They don't stick out as far as they do on these things. There's 8mm of core material sticking out from the core material up to here, but on here there's only 4mm. Oh well, we bear that in mind, that if there's a loss a significant loss, it could be due to the fact that there's a 4mm air gap, and if there is, I'll have to deal with that later on. Because I'm not going to start hunting around for more, because this isn't going on too well. I didn't make that recess deep enough really. You know, the thingy. Let's see if I can get this. Oh, what I could do is... Oh, I've just had an idea. Hang on. These cores should pop out of here. So, what I'll do is I'll get the one that's stuck together. That's this one. Two of them stuck together. Oh, I'll just pop this other one out. I don't want to break the wires off. I'm trying to not to. So you won't be able to see very well. I don't want to break the damn thing. The acetone has... Oh, damn it, that's stuck in there pretty good. I nearly chopped my finger. I did, well, I hit my thumb. That is stuck in there. The acetone's dried and it's really stuck in there. Can't get it out. Well, there's only one way for it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use some general purpose U-Glue that's very weak glue, because then I can stick this ferrite on there and it won't be too... super glue will be too strong and too... it would be too strong and also not give me time to position it. So I'm just going to stick that on the ferrite. And there's another advantage of using glue. It stops these things from vibrating and making a racket, because the frequency is such that I'm going to just put the bobbin on and then stick this in, and then it will stick to the other ferrite ring in there. Like that. Now I'll get my magnet ring. Oops, it's actually this magnet ring I want. Doesn't make any difference, they're both the same, but this one's closer. Stick that in there. Push this up. Right. Okay, now that's in position, it'll hold itself together like that. Now, where's that big long elastic band gone? Where are you gone? Ah, they're on here, they're on the wires. I'll take this one off here, I can't see the other one. There's two more somewhere, I don't know where they are. I'll find them in a minute, they're probably buried underneath. I'll go all the way out across here. Oh, see them now. They're on the back. There they are, stick them over here, that's for that one. It's just to hold these together. And I'll put the bobbins on in a minute. The output bobbins. These aren't attached to anything really, except for the input coil, so let's see, I should be able to put it on like this. Rustic pans. I'm surprised they haven't deteriorated and broken by now, because they usually do. It's using this acetone material knit and close to rubber has a tendency to make them rot and the rubber just basically, it goes all weird and gooey and snaps, whatever. So that side is done. Looks like it's going to be alright. I have to put the... Now, these are just prototypes, these interfaces, you know, the male side that couples up with the female side, and I'm not guaranteeing that this thing won't give me some trouble, but it's really just to test things out. And if I need a permanent thing to stop these coils from moving around, sliding around, another way of doing it is to make a separate clip that goes around both the coils. That's another way. I thought about doing it like that, but what I've got to do now is one of these output coils has to go on the bottom section on that side. I hope they can get it on. I've test fitted it with the dummies that have no wire on, but you see it might be too tight for these because there's wire wrapped on these, so there's a bit of compression on the inside. I might have to use my knife, actually I probably will, to scrape off a bit of plastic just to help it get started. Because it is a bit snug. So I'm just chamfering the corners just to help me get it started. There we go. So that's that one. And a bit of rubber fell off somewhere. Let's do this one. I'm hoping I don't have to shampoo them all. Nah, this one's fine. So I'm just pushing it down so that it's flush. It can go a bit further. That's half of it done. Now I've got to do the top section. I've got to swap this out. So let's get these coils off. Don't you come apart on me. I hope I haven't glued that in. Oh no, don't say you. Don't say there's always one. And that's usually the case. Let me just get this end off. Right, get that off. That's two cores stuck together, so that's going to have to be split. Yeah, oh, I use the weak glue, so a bit of alcohol should get these off. I'm hoping I don't want to break no more cores. There we go, got you. The weak glue melted straight away. I got myself another. Oops. That's that one off, take that one out of the way. This one's going to have to be melted as well, it's just a bit of alcohol. I hope the sound's alright because I haven't tested it. Let's put a bit down the side as well. trying to wiggle it to get it loose, and glue is still holding it. That should be easy if I just take this off the stand. Actually, another thing I can do is get my screwdriver, work it down the back of the bobbin. Oh, there we go, got you. Oh, look, it took the other. It took the ferrite off the steel instead. Oops. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. As long as I can get it out. Oh yeah, got you. Alright, I've got the ferrites out, which is important, but the glue did get in there. I'll separate these. Oh, so I actually broke some ferrites when I was using a knife. There we go. It's soft. It's just a soft weak glue I used. Thankfully. Oh, I can't go all the way through. There's a plastic insert I put in there. I just love that weak glue. Sometimes it makes life easier. Trying to get these apart. There we go. Right, that's the part that wants to be left on this other core in case I go back to it. I'll stick that back on later. It's just in case I want to go back to using that one. Just in case. Right, so I'll get these female ends without the plastic insert which intersects with these. I have to get these on the bracket, on this other bracket now. So. I've got holy pants on today. Holes. I'm using my holy pants because the others are in the wash. So you normally see me in the pink ones because I only use my scruffy clothes when I'm doing this job, really. Because, let's face it, if you get glue on your clothes, especially if you get super glue on your clothes, that's it. That's it. End of story. You can't get it out again. Well, acetone technically could, but it would bring out the stain and it would take out the colouring of your clothing. This one's tight. Damn it. Come on. There we go, I've got you. Right, so I've got these on. Let's see about getting these mounted that way up. I'm sorry if you can't see so well, but the camera is right over there. I'll try and bring it a bit nearer. You're going to get a shadow though, that's the trouble. There's the lights behind it. Back it a bit. I think I'll leave it there. There's a bit of a shadow there. That's not too bad, you can see these. Anyway, right, so I'll get this one in there. And I think we're going to be alright because anyway, I'm not going to use glue yet. I'm just going to squirt some alcohol on it because it's still got glue on it. And I'll stick it in there. One, use glue for the sake of it. We'll see what happens when I get this together. And God, see, good thing about the alcohol is it kills the coronavirus. Well, that's what the antiseptic. I need to get these rubber bands on the bottom as well. Hang on. Oh, I'll put them in a minute. So I think we're the concentric magnet assembly in. Yeah, remember there's going to be a 4mm gap in there, but I'm hoping it won't make much of a difference, and I don't have my ball bearing things in, so there's going to be a slight difference on this in where this behaves. Right, and I'm actually going to put on this. Let's see, how easy is it maybe to put these coils on here with this one's tangled up. How did that happen? How did that wire get? Oh, everything's coming apart here. I'm trying not to disturb my wiring because I want to try it with everything wired the same. Okay, that's better. We're not tangled up now. Right, can I get this on this one? That wire needs to be facing in because it's into short out with that one otherwise. Oh, it goes in easy, that one. That's good. That one's on there. Normally these coils are on one core, but because of the difference in the design, I was constrained by the fact that these laminations were a specific length, and I couldn't really cut them shorter or longer. I couldn't make them any longer because that's the material I was sent. So I was lucky to be able to make. I'm lucky to be able to make what I've got out of it. Really, this nano crystalline core material is apparently it's expensive. It's hard to get a hold of. Very hard to get a hold of. I think there's only one company that's making it. Let's see, so that one will end up being on there, so this one will end up from there. I think that's right. If it's wrong, I'll just flip the whole thing 180 degrees. So this one's going to be, so that one's on the outside, so this one's going to be on the inside. like that. Right, that goes on perfectly. Look at that perfect fit. It was only that one that was stubborn. I think it was that one, or was it that one? I can't remember now. One was stubborn anyway, but I got it on. Right, now I have to flip this over, and female meets male situation. This whole thing could just fall off there because there's nothing really going to be holding it on apart from its own weight. So, and also my batteries that run this circuit board down here, I think they're flat. I think they're pretty flat. So don't expect miracles. Just put this on here. As long as we've got, I need to push these on a bit further if I can. Not short anything out. Right, it looks different because of these extra long legs. Oh, you won't be able to see it at the moment because it's, I have no idea what's going to happen when I turn this on because these elastic bands want to be a bit tighter. Pull this together a bit better. I'm just going to move this down a bit more. Yeah, the intersection's just about there. It's not quite there, but there's a little bit of splaying. Things aren't quite lined up. They're a little bit, you know, a little bit icky because of the split cores. Because it's no longer one piece of secondary core. It's split and it's not quite lining up, but jiggle this around a bit. Maybe I can get it to go on right. Okay, right, I think that's not too bad. It seems to line up better now. I'm going to see if I can get the camera lower. The legs, it's got a really long. I've got the extension on the stand for the camera at the moment, so I'm going to take the extension off so that we can get this camera a bit lower. So bear with me. It's going to look a bit shaky while I take this extension off. That's the extension. Right. I want to get it lower down so you can. That's better. Let's get this screwed on. Okay, I think I'm up. Yeah. Right, it's fixed on now. I'll back it out a bit. Right, so it looks a bit like a daddy long legs now. Well, we call them daddy long legs. You know them spiders with the really long legs. Those flimsy little things. So right, we've got this together. Right. I'm going to turn the power on and make sure everything over here is not shorting out and everything. I'm going to check all my wires and everything. Good. And move these cores out. Oh, look at that! I've got two cores I can put back in that generator. You know, this is what keeps happening. I keep nicking cores out of this rotary generator at the back, and then I realise I can put them back in again. So those two can go. If I keep them there, they won't get lost. You see, that's the general idea. Otherwise, I end up putting them in bags, and then I put them in my drawer in the bedroom and put them out of the way, and then I think, where do I put them? But at least when they're there, I know what they are. Right, so I can put this back up here, just pass it a couple of, I'll just hang it on there so it doesn't dangle on the floor. Where's the other one? There's another one dangling somewhere. There we are. There's the other one. I'll stick that around there so it's not dangling on the floor. Turn my power on because I want to... Right, we're still at 31. Oh, you probably can't see it. Oh, wires in the way, these frigging wires. I'll move them on the other side. We're still running at 31.5 volts on the high voltage before it's pulsed by the H bridge. And we'll turn that on. Go to current. We're on current now. We're at 0 amps obviously because there's nothing running yet. Now I've got to check all my wires to make sure everything's hooked up still before I actually connect the battery on, turn the battery on to power this circuit, because this circuit board runs on battery. I previously made a mistake when I said it was running at 20, this runs at 20 milliamps. It doesn't. That was the other thing that was over there for the rotary system. They used to be at 20 milliamps, but this thing I think it's about more like 50-60 milliamps this board, because of all the LEDs that are on it. There's about 4 LEDs, so opto isolators, and they all use a bit of juice. So I'm just checking my wires. Right, I've got my, there's the, it's probably out of tune by the way, it's probably going to be way out of tune. We should see an AC voltage on here when it's running. So if I can put this meter, I'll just stand it on here actually, it don't matter if it's resting on my circuit board, it's not going to short anything because it's all plastic. So. Right, we should see an AC output voltage when I turn this thing on. Let's try it. Oh my god, it's working! I haven't even tuned it. Oh, but look at that, the input current's higher. Oh, block the bloody, oh you can see it. Oh my god, look at that, 120 milliamps. So the nano crystalline, it's not been tuned yet though, I haven't tuned it. And we've only got 3.19 volts, 3.2 volts because it's going into that load right now, but we're actually higher at the moment on the output of 200 milliamps. So if I bring the meter over, we're going into the minimum load though, that is low voltage load. So we're actually pushing out 200 milliamps into 3.4 volts, which is on the meter, the black meter behind it. So currently pushing out 200 milliamps. Sorry, I've got to put this over there. I can't hold that while I'm tuning it. Mind you, this battery could be flat that's driving everything, so I need to move this over here because I want to get to the screw to adjust everything, because it probably wants tuning. So there's not a great deal of difference between putting the nano crystalline, at least yet, because the current. So let's see what happens if I short the output down, see if the current changes. Right, it drops a bit when I short them out. Yeah, it does drop a bit, but it probably wants retuning. I need to get the oscilloscope connected back up here really, because I haven't got it. Let's just do a frequency. Let's put the meter here. If I get it on the screen, video get fallen off the table. That's the AC voltage that's going out. Right, let's tune the frequency. See if I can get it a bit better. Oh, my output current's just dropped down to 50 milliamps and my input current's just dropped to 40 milliamps, so that's worse. Well, that's interesting. Oh dear, it's worse. My input current's gone crazy, it's gone right up to 160 milliamps, that's actually worse. This is with nano crystalline core material as well. So, what's all the hype about it being so good? I mean, it's actually working worse. Now you can see my input current there. And as the current's going down, my output's going down as well. And while I'm tuning it, this is my output current, look at that. Right, watch the dial. Oh, I'm blocking the actual input there. Right, as I go, watch the needle. I hope it's focusing alright, I can't really tell. As my input current is going up, my output current's going up. So that's worse. It's actually working worse with nanocrystalline material, which is, I'm surprised. I was expecting it to be much better. Look, as I go tune it, as my input current over there on the red digital display, as it goes down, my output goes down. That's reverse of what was happening with the steel. My output current's dropping right to zero basically now. When I get to that frequency, it's not too bad. I've got a big dip down to 40 milliamps, 30 milliamps on the input, but I'm only pushing out 50 milliamps on the into 2.2 volts, which is, well, I've got a loose wire. Probably I did overhaul it with my thumb. So the nanocrystalline core material is actually working worse on this device, which I'm extremely disappointed, because I was so hoping it would be a lot better. But on the other hand, it's expensive material, hard to get hold of, so maybe I should be glad that it works better with steel or iron. I'm just holding the, oh, that's better angle, I can keep it still. Look at that, it goes up to 200 milliamps, but my input's gone way up to 130 milliamps. Normally, what was it previously? I think it was about 80 milliamps previously. It's actually using more current with this core material, which is weird. Yeah, that's really bad. Need to try a different frequency. Maybe it just works better at a lower frequency. Let's take the frequency capacitor out, which is this thing. Right, oh, my thing come off as well. Hang on. Let's put a different capacitor in, let's try a different frequency altogether. Let's put this thing in. Oop. Right, that's very low. That's extremely low. My input current's high, which means it's no good. But my output current goes back up, but my input current's at 170 milliamps. That's no good. Let's try another capacitor. Come out. Let's try this electrolytic. Let's see how low it can go. Right. Nope. Nope, that's no good. Oh, let's put... I'm losing my capacitors. Where are they all going? I'm still holding this freaking thing. I can't put my arm down. Let's try... Oh, I've already tried one of these. Let's just put this one back in again. Oh, I just thought of something. That's peak current there. Maybe my input current's high because I need to change the capacitors that are across the coils. That's another possibility. I'll have to put that over there a minute. So what I'm talking about is tuning. Oops. The output coils have got these capacitors on the end of these leads. Now let's take this off a minute. My output just went down, so that's no good. I'm actually at 230 milliamps on the output right now, which is not bad, but the input's ridiculous. Oh, I want to get the other one. Oops. Oh, this one's come off again. Sorry, I can't read chat if you're talking to me. I can't see anything. Oh shit, that come off again. Just a minute. Put these capacitors on the end of these extensions, these long leads, because the long leads don't seem to make any difference. Not at this frequency anyway. But it makes it easier for me to swap capacitors and gives you a little bit of remote access, if you know what I mean. Try taking... I'm actually doing quite good output current at the moment. Now if you take the load off altogether... I haven't tried that yet. That's the point, that's the point. Put that back up there a minute. Let's take the load off altogether and see what happens to the input current. Let's just unplug that. Oh, that's not too bad. It's dropped to 80 milliamps. And I was around about that before. That's very good. I'm down to 70 milliamps. So maybe there's a threshold point. This is. I'll leave it plugged in. Right. So I've got the load back. The load is back up to. On the output is back up to 200. What's it? 240 is it? I need to get the digital meter. Hang on. I need the. Oh, I can't get past the camera because the wire's in the way. Ugh, hang on. I'm going to have to use my couch as a stepping stone without falling. Oh no, I'll get over the wire somehow. Try to get over the wire without falling on my face. Right, where are you, meter? So there's still hope, it might just mean that I need to do some tuning. But it does appear to be producing more output. That is the great. I'm just getting my meter. Right, I'll put that on my chair. And hold on a minute. Just give me a sec. what I will say is the core material is more efficient. I'm gonna get fast. I'm gonna get massive frigging camera. There's not much room in here. Right, I've just knocked everything, haven't I? Right, the output current is here. I'm going to try and get this in the camera. The output current. Output voltage. I'm going to get my digital meter in a minute hooked up. If I move that back a bit, better. Oh, I've got a bag in my mouth. It's gonna celebrate. I don't know what I'm celebrating yet, actually, but I'm celebrating the fact that it's doing my output, but I'm not happy about the input current going up. Take this off the analog meter. Plug it into the digital meter. Milliamp, I want it on milliamp. Right, we'll get a better reading now. Oh, it's dropped a bit, it's gone down to 200. Can you see that? Oh, shucks. This is going to fall on the floor in a minute. I'll move this back a bit more. Right, 203 milliamps on the output, which is not bad, but as what I'm hoping that, see if the light's reflecting on that. That's better. Get it off there. Oh no, it's because it's me that's reflecting in the meter. That's not too bad then. The input current at the moment is pretty high on this meter, on the high side. So what I'm speculating is that maybe I need to adjust my dead time on the circuit board, and I can't do that properly without hooking the oscilloscope back up. Oh shit! Excuse me, but excuse my language. My oscilloscope's not plugged in. Oh! I'm cursing because I've got to get past this freaking camera again. Oh, sorry, I'm just going to move the camera. Just give me a minute. Why did I do that last time? Oh, why did I do that last time? Right. Instead of climbing over the damn camera, I should have just moved the damn thing. Right, I'm going to try and get everything in. Include the digital oscilloscope, which is right across the room. Get that in. Right. You can see the oscilloscope's across the room, but I haven't got it clipped on yet. I think I've got trigger on blue channel still. That needs to go on. Yeah. Yeah, I've got my blue trigger point. This wants to go on an AC output coil. Which coil should I clip it onto? Which one was it last time? I can't remember. Oh, I put it onto these down here. Oh god, a little awkward position to get to. Right, clip onto there. I can't get onto that damn capacitor leg. Oh, we're on now, but that's not the perfect coil to be clipped onto. There is definitely distortion in the field, the resonant field, and our frequencies moved. If you remember previously, I think it was the optimum frequency was 2.4 kilohertz. Now the optimum frequency is 2 kilohertz. So there's a definite discrepancy between the previous cores and this other core material. There's a definite frequency shift. There's a difference. Now the other thing that is worth mentioning, if I can bring the camera across there, is I've actually got my, I don't know if you can see it now, you want me to see. I'll just bring the camera over there if I can. Just a minute. Flipping USB just got stuck to a magnet. I'm going to knock the microphone over in a minute. Right, I'm not using my phone right now, I'm using the other camera. I've actually got the dead time pulse being measured right now. So previously I hadn't got these little dotted lines, weren't properly marking the start time and end time of the pulse width, but they are now. So we can actually see the pulse width there, which is 72 microseconds right now. Oh, it's glaring at me. It's glaring. You can see it. So the pulse width is actually 72 microseconds at the moment. The period is 486 microseconds. Right? So that's the dead time for half cycle. There's actually pulses on the other half cycle which aren't on the scope because I've got the other channel connected to the output. So you can only see half the pulses. The other pulses will be above that on the other channel, on the other half of the cycle, on the top phase. This is the negative phase. Positive phase isn't being measured. So, but the positive phase is exactly the same as the negative phase, except that it's the inverse, and it's obviously not being measured right now. So I'm going to put my camera back. Okay. Knocked everything again. This camera is not very good. Well, we're doing a lot better. Look at that. 194 milliamps. And we're at 4.3 volts on the supercapacitors across the room right now. Even though it's showing 3.32 here, but that's... I probably need to move this probe, this oscilloscope probe, to the other coil. Let's see which coil was it on last time. Oops, was falling off. Well, I've got the which coil was on last time? Well, let's try clipping onto this coil on this side, which you can't really see because it's on this side. But oh, it's a better coil to measure anyway. It's got 18 volts on that one. Oops. If the probe will stay on. Right, stay on. Alright, so we're seeing 18 volts, 18.4 volts peak to peak on this other coil, and the waveform looks a little bit better on there, but it's under load, don't forget. And we're seeing 6 volts RMS on the yellow output on that coil. I need to adjust my dead time to minimize input current, so I'm going to adjust the dead time now a little bit. Remember, I've basically got it bookmarked on there, so I can always see where to turn it back to, because if I need to go back, it needs to go back to 72 microseconds. So I'm going to turn this to, I want input. Oh, look at that, mate, output's dropping. Right, look at that, just by adjusting the pulse width. and my input hasn't changed. Well, it just went up to 170 then. This is just a bit more. Up to 180 now. My output went up as well. So that it seems to be better still. I think, yeah, because the yellow LED was coming on this thing, which is current limiting. So when the yellow LED starts to flash, that's when this unit is limiting how much current can go to this H bridge. Don't forget, the 24 volts that's running this board is low, so there's a high possibility that we aren't getting enough drive to the MOSFETs, which will also skew the actual efficiency of everything. So let's just turn this back down again. And we get quite, look at that, it just shoots up, the current does. I want to turn this so that the input current just starts to drop off, but I don't lose too much output. So I want it about there. If I turn it too far, what's happening is the pulse width is getting narrower and my output just dropped completely, and my input is still at 160 milliamps. Look at that. So if I turn it back up again, it went to 150 just then. Do you see that? And my output was going up. So I turn it back again. Done. It's gone down. Turn it. Look, 150 milliamps on the input, and the output probably went up then. Let's turn it back again. Yeah. So we've gone down on the output current. See that 160 milliamps. Turn it back a bit. 150 milliamps on the input. Look, right there, and the output went up. So you can see how touchy this tuning is. I'm going to turn this back to where it was. Where am I? I'm going to turn it back to, I think it was about there. What's that? 68 microseconds, I think it was about there. So we're back to where we were. So I don't want to mess with that too much, because as I said, the voltages that are going into this H bridge to the MOSFETs, some of these MOSFETs are actually getting warm, because this side's getting warm because they're not being driven equally. That's why we're seeing a slight discrepancy in when the current drops off and the output goes up and everything, because the H bridge isn't getting the full 24 volts right now. And just to verify that, because this has got a regulator on the board, and if the regulator is not getting enough voltage, it can't regulate properly to 12 volts, which is what this circuit's tuned at. It's tuned to work at 12 volts, and if it's not getting the full 12 volts, I'm going to go to DC. I'm just going to check what voltage we've got on going into the board. I have a suspicion it's going to be low. Oh, we're over the limit. I wish we're not too bad, actually. No, at 21 volts. Oh, that's it. That is starting to border on low. We're at 21 volts going into the regulators. The regulator should be able to run quite happily at 21 volts, so that shouldn't be a problem. Go this back to AC and put this back on that coil. So my board is getting enough juice, but what I need to keep an eye on is, we're back measuring AC again on coil output, 3.58 volt. We're doing better than we were previously. We've got 170 milliamps going out to the supercapacitors at the moment. So that is definitely a little bit better than it was. So I've got indigestion or something. Is something blocking the meter here? Oh, it might be that. I noticed the previous video I did, all the way through it I was talking about the meter and everything, and when I went and played it back you couldn't see a damn thing. I thought, oh shit. That's what happens usually. I'm looking at a tiny little preview screen across the room, and it's a tiny little window. Well, I'll show you what I mean. It's right over there on my computer monitor. It's them tiny little windows that are there and there, and I can't really see the digits on there. It's just too small. It doesn't give you the ability to make it bigger. So I can't really tell what you're seeing. You're probably watching in HD or something, and I'm not able to get that unless I actually open a browser window, and then it could cause my computer to run out of memory because Firefox just eats all my memory. This flipping program in the way. It's not there. It was this thing that was blocking the view. I'm just going to put something on that to hold it down. Right. Right, that might work. I'll pull this forward a bit. That might help. So we're actually 160 milliamps on the input, which is not. I'm not happy about that because I was a lot lower before. But the fact I'm getting more output kind of offsets my disappointment, so that's something. But there's a lot more work to do with this thing anyway. I mean, the actuator coils themselves, I've tried all different configurations. I've tried narrow coils, but I haven't tried ultra narrow coils. When I talk about ultra narrow coils, I'm talking about something that's like 4mm wide, like a really thin coil. I haven't tried those yet. The main reason I haven't done that is because the ferrites that I've got are the ferrite rings, these toroids that I've been using, these things that I use to put inside, ignore the plastic insert thing. These are 8mm wide, so basically I've been kind of stuck to that width really, unless I actually just make the coil itself smaller and allow for the extra bit of ferrite 4mm wide overlapping. I could do that, I suppose. And I have a dummy just to make the bobbins with a really thick flange so that the plastic itself is quite thick to compensate for the fact that these ferrites are a lot thicker. I could do that, I suppose. Well, I'm winding more coils, and I'm really not feeling up to that right now. I'm just not feeling up to it. I mean, I need inspiration, I need hope. I mean, and we all need that right now, what with this crap virus situation and everything. It kind of knocks the wind out of you, if you know what I mean. You just kind of think, what's the point? You know. That's what they want, though, isn't it? The globalists, they kind of want us down in the dumps. That's something like that, anyway. But I try to be optimistic, and that's all I can do, really. Nano. Or was it nano? I was thinking about Mork and Mindy because we're using this nano crystal material, and I kind of just had a bit of a pun idea. I was thinking, because my friend posted a link to my live stream on the chat now, and I was just going to type, and I just typed nano to him. By mistake, and I really remember. I remembered that Mork and Mindy thing then when I did that. So, but anyway, this is interesting because swapping out that material, it's proven one thing that there's definitely an improvement. I'm not sure if it's because of the material being wrapped in like a C shape rather than having steel laminations or cross sections. If you know what I mean, instead of having the laminations piled like that on top of each other, like that, it's on the, I can't see, it's wrapped on the inside like that, right? So the magnetism is going around the inside of the core material around like that, and you can't escape. because this material is excellent at blocking magnetism from going through it. I did a video a few days ago to show you that, to show you what happens. And oh, let me see if I can grab it, just a minute, I'll show you again, it's important. Right, without breaking a magnet this time. So here's that material, here's some more of that material, right. Now, my friend in America sent me this. Now what's very interesting about this material is the way it behaves when you try to pass magnetism through it. Now, when you're passing magnetism along the length, it travels very efficiently. So if you stick magnets on this end, if I stick these neodymiums on that end of the core material like that, we get a lot of magnetism coming out the other end, right? Get a ball bearing, I'll show you on there. I can't find it. So turn it upside down. So there's the ball bearing, there we go. So look at that, right, the ball bearing is attached to this end and magnets on the other end. So the magnetism is very efficient at travelling along the length of the material. Now this is what really got me. When you put the magnets on the face like this, look at this, very weak. Oops, hardly anything getting through. Look. These are really powerful neodymiums, look at that, hardly anything is getting through. It just about gets through if I touch it completely, but look at the screening effect. So this basically means that the magnetism isn't leaking out everywhere, it's travelling along the material and through there, so it's more efficient. So it does definitely have that gain, that aspect of improvement on it. Now without this material there, get the ball bearing, are you watching? Look at that. I don't want to crack any more magnets. Look at this. Right, put the material back. That's what you call efficiency. That is efficiency. The magnetism just can't get through. I use my only small amount does. Here's my nail file. Here's my nail file. Magnets at the bottom. It's very weak. I can just feel it. It's very weak. Do it without the material. Look at, oh, I'm not on the camera. That's without the material. See how much it bends. Put the material back. I'm not on camera again. You see what difference that makes? Amazing. So that's why we've got a gain on the output, because there's very little flux escaping into the ether. But I am somewhat, as I say, disappointed that my input current's gone up. Now I'm trying to work out why that is. It might be that I need to retune all the coils, which is a disappointment. So using nanocrystal core material, does that mean I have to retune all my frigging input coils? Well, it looks like it. So that means that, well, maybe I don't have to. Maybe all I have to do is go back and use some of the previous coils that didn't work before very well. So all I really have to do is grab a hold of all the coils that I've already wound that didn't work very well previously and slap them in and see what happens, which I can do because I've still got them. So I can certainly do that. Find out if the previous coils that didn't work very well previously work better now with the other material. So that's an option to do. I'm quite chuffed about this because we're at 4 point. My supercapacitors across the room are getting 70 milliamps right now, which is impressive because normally they don't get. It's normally about 40 milliamps at this point. Because across the room the supercapacitors are at 6.2 volts right now. Normally when I'm at 6.2 volts I'm usually at about 50 milliamps, maybe 40 milliamps, but they're actually getting 70 right now. So that's a big that's an improvement. But it's just the input current that I'm not happy with. But let me just short out some of them output coils and see what happens to the input current. So if I short out that one, my input current dropped to 150, 140, but my output has dropped to 72. Look. Oh shit! I've just broken the capacitor leg off that. I have just broken the capacitor off there. I've got to solder that back on now. Oops! Oh, I went and prized it with my knife and it snapped off. Let me just try. Let me see if I can get it to just touch on there for now. Is it touching on there? No, I'm going to have to solder the freaking thing. Hang on. Won't take me a minute. Soldering iron. Where's my lead? Where's my solder, in fact? Oh, solder's across the room. Well, maybe I can just heat it up, I should be alright. So I've got to solder that capacitor back on. I've just pulled it off the blooming board. I'm going to let this warm up a minute. Let this soldering warm up. There's always something goes wrong. The capacitors are on the output to smooth everything out, to tune everything. And I don't know if you noticed this, but when that capacitor came off, my input current hasn't changed. Right, we're at 235. That's near enough. I should be able to solder that leg back on now. Oh, I've got plastic on my soldering iron. It stinks. Oops, I need something to hold it because it's going to be hot. Screwdriver slipped off. Alright, I've got it soldered back on. Right, unplug that soldering iron. So, I was just doing a short test and I'm going to use my nail file so I don't cut things off this time. Like shorting that one out, the output drops to 116, my input's still at 150. Well, that's not bad. Short the other coil out. 100. Oh, this wire's in the way now. Right, that one we dropped to 150. Output 121. Short this other one out. 150. We dropped to 72. So that's for shorting out all four outputs on here. Oh, there's another one. That one connected? No, that's not connected. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all 4 coils. We're shorting them out one by one. Right, so At least look at that, the input hasn't really changed actually, it's not significantly changed at all, even when it's shorting out, except when I take the load off. If I unplug this lead, let's see what happens when I unplug this lead for the output. So this in series the output current. Take this out. Now my input's dropping to 80 milliamps. It's very interesting because before I had a situation where when there was no load the current dropped, when it was fully shorted out the current dropped to the same amount, but now it's behaving completely differently. Yeah, remember previously I was using about 80-90 milliamps, so this is twice, it's actually using twice the amount of current than it used to do, which is what I'm disappointed really. But as I say, I need to really retune everything. I need to try different actuator coils on the input side and all that, and it's a lot of stress and everything. Obviously swap the coils all over again, but yeah, I'll get there eventually. Maybe. So what I'm curious about is the roll off. As the output current starts to roll off, as the output voltage is going up, is the input current just going to suddenly drop? Is it going to roll off slowly, in a linear fashion, like a slope, gradually? Is it going to just suddenly drop off input current? That's what you have to test for when you're running these tests. You've got to run them until you fully charge the output, or you need to have a variable load, which I don't actually have. I haven't got a variable load set up, and I'm not going to start fighting about with it. I'd rather just sit here and be lazy and watch it and see how it charges up. That's the lazy person's method of doing it. So I'm just going to let it charge up and watch it and see what happens. Because the input current might suddenly drop off, or it might go very slowly. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't think I'm going to be staying live for much longer though, because as I say, I don't want these live streams to be too long. People's attention spans are very limited these days, and I'm not even sure if I've got all my... Hang on a minute. I could make... there is another thing I can do on the input side. I can put the capacitor in series with one of the coils. I can disconnect one of the drive coils right down here. If I take this wire off, right, that's one coil disconnected. That's one pair of coils. The top coil's disconnected and just the bottom one's running. So now it drops to 70 milliamps, but look at my input, my output current, it's also dropped to 103, so I've also lost output. You can tell the difference in the tone, because two coils are making more noise now. Put that back on, and all the power is going to all four coils now instead of just two. So there's a difference there, and I can try sticking the capacitor in series with that top section to create a delay. Let's try that. Just put this capacitor on here. I'm off the camera a bit. And connect that to the other set of coils. Oh! My input current has just gone down to 30 milliamps. Look at that difference. But my output current's dropped to 50 milliamps, so that's no good. So take it off, and my output's gone back up to 103. So that shows you the weird shit that's going on with this thing. So let's get a bigger capacitor. There's some really weird things going on with this thing. So I'm going to put a 1 microfarad metal film capacitor in series with two of the coils now. My input's gone up to 180 milliamps now, and my output's gone down to 23 milliamps. The weird stuff that goes on with this thing, it's just unbelievable. Right, where's them capacitors I was using previously that seem to work? Oh, don't say they've got lost. Oh, there they are. Let's try electrolytics. I'll put these electrolytics in series, the two electrolytics wound back to back to create an AC capacitor. They're actually 33 microfarads, so I have to divide that by 2 because they're in series, so you get half that value. So that's what, 16.5, something like that. 16.5 microfarad electrolytics in series with one of the pairs of coils. Look at that, the input current has gone to 170 milliamps. The output is at 153. So is that worse? I think it is. So let's bypass it directly now, back to where it was without the capacitors directly. Now we're direct, and our input current's gone down, and our output went, I think it's gone up. So yeah, weird things going on with this thing. Let's put the capacitor back on there a minute. Right, capacitor, bypass, direct. That's direct. We're looking at the white meter on the input. The white meter, right, back through capacitor. So when it's going through the capacitor, the output drops and the input goes up. Right, direct through capacitors. Yeah, so weird stuff going on with this thing. This is what I'm talking about tuning. It's such a pain to tune this thing. I'm going to try this big red well, it's not bumblebee, but it's a 0.25 microfarad ultra high voltage capacitor. I'm going to try that one in series with two of the coils. Oh, we've gone on to 50 milliamps now on the input, and our output is at 67.2. Oh, that's crap. So take it off. So look, with it off completely, it's actually higher, which just this thing does my brain in. You just can't figure it out, because you put a partial capacitor on there and you think it would make it better, but it actually makes it worse. So I'm going to put it direct again. Right, so it's direct now. It's just the slightest phase shift on this thing. Everything changes. So what? That's why I was using my delay lines previously. So here's one of my delay chucks that I wound. Let's try this inductor in series with the one of those coils. So let's put the inductor in. Right, disconnect it, connect it to my inductor, connect the other end of my inductor to the two of the coils. Oh, look at that! That's actually made my input go down 140 milliamps, I think. Oh, my output's gone down though, 142 milliamps. Let's short it direct. Oh, I can't do this. Just a minute, I need to wrap this around. That wire first. Right, I'm just wrapping the wire around. Oh, let's short it direct. Direct hits higher. Direct hits 170 milliamps now, and output is 156 milliamps. Take the direct short off, it's going through the choke. The output's gone down to 141 milliamps, and the input's gone down to 140 milliamps. So yeah, that delay does seem to help. Remember, the high side is at 31.52 volts, so that's a lot of current change for that voltage. So shorted directly to that coil. The input coil is directly powered like the other two. We'll see output 155, but our input current's got to 170, so take it off, drop to 140, so 140 on input. So yeah, it's using less power with this choke connected in series with two of the coils. So there's definitely something needs to be done about the drive coils, you know, to offset them so that they're not perfectly in sync. That's why I use them ball bearings. If you saw at the start of the stream, I put two of those over here anyway. That's why I stuck two ball bearings on the end of my core material on two of the cores to create a differential, so they weren't exactly in harmonious resonance, because the problem with that is you get a third harmonic, and the third harmonic messes everything up. You get this third beat. It's like they used to call it a beat on an AM radio, is when you get two frequencies exactly the same colliding with each other. They create a beat, and that beat is the resonant harmonic, the third harmonic that you hear. When you get the same effect if you've got two washing machines running side by side, they're both exactly the same brand, same make, and you end up getting this third oscillation that goes like a whirring sound, goes roo, 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 like that, and that's the beat you get between the two frequencies. So that's why I stuck this ball bearing on, to stop that from happening. Right, so I'm going to leave that connected direct because my output went right down. Just going to leave that connected directly for now. It'll charge up that capacitor faster anyway. So I've taken my choke off, because that's not helping a great deal. I'm still interested to watch what happens with the input current. And also the beat thing I was telling you about, you can also get that beat to change in frequency. You can actually get that to increase and start to go like a wobble sound faster and faster if you get the frequencies closer and closer together. The further apart the frequencies are, the less resonant you get. You get the same thing with electric fan. In fact, if you're listening to if you've got an electric fan running, you'll notice that every so many minutes, or every 20 seconds, it kind of changes its tone. It goes through this cycle where there's like it's interacting with something, but you don't know what it is. It's like it's the beat. Even electric fans make this weird thing, and people often think, why does it do that? And it's because it's resonating with something. Either it's resonating with itself from an echo in the room, from its own vibration that's travelling through the wall and coming back to it. Who knows? But it's mysterious, because normally one thing shouldn't do that. You normally need two tones to create that beat effect. I'm just putting my soldering iron away. Well, I'm going to shut up and just sip some coffee, have a fag. My coffee's gone cold. I think it's my oscilloscope probe that's blocking the view. Oh, I just realised if I put these things underneath. It would have solved that. What's really annoying me more than anything is the low side current is way up. The low side current is about, I'm on about the meter that's right across the room that you can't see, but the low side is showing nearly 500 milliamps, which is half an amp. That's at 16 volts, the low side, so yeah, there's still work to do. I'm just curious if this changes the current. Just a bit. All I can think is that because of the lossy my other core materials that I've been using, because of the lossy effects in the way these metal shims are, because the separate metal shims are, each one's about 25 millimeters long. These are about 3 millimeters thick, and they're like stepping stones. So when one is charged up with inductive reactance, it takes a few microseconds for the magnetism to basically step onto the next slab and basically induce a magnetic inductance on that one before it travels through to the end and gets through to the other side. So that these stepping stone cores seem to create a delay in themselves. So maybe that's an advantage in this way this thing works, because what we're effectively doing is sending a magnetic pulse down, a high frequency pulse. We're currently at I think, yeah, we're still about 2 kilohertz. So we're sending a pulse in, and the flux isn't travelling out the other end until that saturation point of one of the steel is saturated. Then the flux starts to travel, passes through the next one, so on. So these work slightly differently. Even ordinary solid steel, the cores which I had made, that I had laser cut, these expensive ones, if you remember, I had them cut by laser. It's got glue all over the front at the moment, but there's multiple layers. Sorry, this camera doesn't have autofocus on it, but even these have a reactive delay on them for the flux to travel all the way through, come out the other side. So I can still go back to these if I needed to, but I'm not going to be doing that for a long time anyway, because I'm going to be experimenting with nanocrystal material, because it's very interesting material. It definitely has less loss. So that alone is enough to inspire me to try out my other input coils, and it's just a question of I need to get them out. I need to put wire looms back on them, because I think I took the looms off, the wire off them, sold it onto these new coils I wound, so I've got to mess about wiring them all up again. So I'm not looking forward to all that, because remember, it's not that I'm lazy, it's the fact that I'm running out of solder as well. I've got to buy more solder soon. I'm running this lead solder is not cheap. It's gone quite expensive. I think it's about 15 quid or something. Let me just try and grab it. I need to order some anyway. It's nearly gone. It's all the soldering I'm doing. This was 100 grams, this solder. A friend actually gave me this. I think there's about 2 layers, 2 wraps on here. Actually, let's weigh it. So when this was a full spool, it was 100 grams. What is it right now? I'll find out how much is left. Oh, there's 26 grams left. 26.6 grams of solder left. So, and that's all the solder I've got. And every time I start doing work, I've got to buy more solder. Yeah. I go through loads of solder. At least the output's pretty stable. I mean, it's rising with the voltage, the AC voltage. The supercapacitors across the room are currently at 8.4 volts, and they're currently getting 50 milliamps across there. So I'm connected to a coil which is not producing a very good voltage. I should be connected to a different coil really to get a better voltage on that meter, because that's not showing. I'm obviously connected to the low voltage coil. Not some of these coils produce higher voltages than others, you see. There's also a lot more work I could do on the secondary coils that are behind here. I mean, the pink ones. I could optimize my output coils so that they're all tuned perfectly to produce the maximum output current, because when I wound those coils I staggered them so that some are low voltage with higher current, some are higher voltage with lower current, and I need to find the optimum coil, the best one, so I've got to measure that at some point. I really need to go and get my meter on it and find out which coil is producing the best RMS voltage output. And then what I need to do is wind a whole set of coils all the same as that one and put them all on, and then I'll have a lot more power coming out of this thing, I tell you now, because some of these coils are not even producing a decent voltage. I mean, the voltage on this one coil that I'm measuring on this digital meter, that's nowhere near the actual voltage that's on the supercapacitor, so it's technically not producing anything. So in theory it's not even producing current, usable current to my circuit, because it's actually it's lax. It's just not under load, you see. It's not doing any work. So that's the other thing. So there's all sorts of things I can still do to this thing, but you see, copper, I've got to buy more copper to do that, and yeah, that's going to cost me an arm and a leg. I've gone through such a lot of copper lately. It's 16 quid that's for 500 gram spool of wire, enamel copper wire, and I think I went through a whole spool of wire winding all those for. So that's 16 quid a time every time I wire those, and yeah. So yeah, it's more money. Anyway, I'll see if I can clip this meter on a. Let me just move this out of the way a minute, and let me see if I can clip onto a different output coil. Let's clip onto that one that I've got let's clip onto this one over here for the meter. Oh everything's falling. Oh, there you go, look. We've got more voltage now, look. We're showing pretty much what I'm getting across the room, more or less. We're nearly 8 volts there. So that's better on that coil. Oops, what have I done now? Oh, it's got up to 11 just then. Why is that? Oh, it's because one of these capacitors wasn't connected. Now it is. Look at that, 11 volts AC now on that is the which coil is it? That is the bottom coil. I knocked my sword on my floor. My output's gone down. I'm not sure what we've done. Let's put this on short circuit on current and see what happens, because it's on AC, so let's see how much current it shorts out. It's over, oh, went over limit then. It's shorting 150 milliamps, and the other coils are still producing 113 milliamps to the output stage. So I'm still seeing 130 milliamps on the other coils going to my output load, while I'm shorting out on current setting. This one coil is shorting out 150 milliamps. That goes to prove if I was to wind all these coils just right, I would end up with a lot more output current than what I'm actually seeing right now, because my input hasn't fairly changed. Look, oh, it's not in the way. So my input is hardly changed. Put this back on volts. Input, but it's not changing much at all. So that's back on 80 volts, and that went back up again. And I've got a real load resistor, 100 ohms here, so 100 ohm resistor. I can't get to that very easily, but I'm going to try. Put this 100 ohm load resistor across that meter. Let's see what happens. We should see the voltage drop when it's connected. Huh, it's not moving. Interesting. This resistor feels warm as well. Let's just try that again. I need to bring his legs close together. Oh, too far apart. I need to be further apart. It's hard to see what I'm doing. Right, the resistor's connected. It dropped. It's gone. Oh, it's disconnected. Right, 11.23. So with a 100 ohm resistor across that coil, input's not changing. The output went down a fraction. Look, look at that. That's my output there. Look, and a little change, not much. This resistor is 100 ohms. It's literally almost shorting that coil out yet. There's a lot of current coming out of these things, but I'm losing a lot in the long wire that's going up to the supercapacitor, so that's the only thing. Oh, I've got another resistor here, and that's I think that's 1.2 ohms or something silly. Or it might be 0.2 of an ohm, I don't know, but it's very low. It's below 1 ohm, it's below 3 ohms anyway. Let's put that on. Can't read it very well. This will short it out. Go out and get on there. Huh. What? What? Hang on a minute, is my meter actually connected on both ends? Because I could be picking up RF. Let's just check this lead is connected right. Oh no. Yeah, I am connected. Just a minute. Oh! Oh! That capacitor is not connected to there, that's why I thought there was something wrong. Oh, that's what was wrong. Stupid thing, get on there. Right, now what? Now put my meter back on. I wasn't measuring anything. Right, I should be on there now. Okay, now we're back to. Oh, my battery light's flashing now. The battery's going. Right, let's short it out with this 1 ohm, whatever it is. I think it's 1 ohm. Right, it's dropping it down to. I hate the oxidized. These legs are all oxidized. Ah, that's more like it. Now we're getting short. You hear the tone change then. That is pulling it down to about 5 volts when I short this out. No, it's pulling it down to half a volt. .3 of a volt. Input's not changing. Right, okay, put this back up here. Oh shit, my meter probe's come off again. Flipping out. These leads are going to snap off next. I'm on about the wires that go into these clips. They're known for breaking. Right. Right, I'll get the 100 ohm again this time. Let's see what's going on there. Put the 100 ohm on because it wasn't connecting last time. Right, 100 ohm on. It drops to 116 on the output. And that dropped to 6.6. So with a 100 ohm resistor across that coil, it dropped to about 6.6 on the AC. I'm tired and I'm going to end this stream in a minute, I think. Because I want to go to bed early. Oh, sorry Ken. Did I make it whistle? I should have quieted it down a bit. I don't know how loud it is. I don't understand why it would be why it would be whistling. I didn't make it whistle. I must have moved something that caused that to happen. It's always whistling. It's just maybe I moved a wire or something. So I'm sorry if it's annoying you or if the microphone's picking it up or something, but I don't understand why it was whistling, but maybe it's gone now, I don't know. That lead had come off, so that might be what caused that to make all that noise. But I'm not monitoring, so I can't hear it. I can hear it here, but it's not that loud to me. Anyway, my battery's dying on my meter, so I'm going to turn the meter off because I want to save my battery. And when the batteries start to complain that they're running down, then it's time, I think, to say good night, because I don't want to run my batteries down completely, because then I'm going to have to buy batteries as well as solder. But we are doing pretty well, I think. So I'm going to put my analog meter back on here, save my digital meter as well. Plug this one back in here. The The analog meter doesn't use batteries, it can run without batteries because it's just a needle. It doesn't have to power LEDs or anything, so I can leave that on for hours. Well, it's years and it would never run a battery down, so it's more economical for me, but it's just hard to see on the computer. It's just hard to see on the video, so I usually just use it when I'm doing testing, and I'm not fussy about how accurate the needle is, you know. So at least we've got this thing put together with the new cores, so we could do a comparison. Oh, it went loud again. Why is it doing that? It must be the material, the core material wants gluing together so it doesn't vibrate. That's probably what it is. Yeah, probably. But the supercapacitors across the room are at 9.45 volts right now, and they're still getting about 40 milliamps, which is not bad. That's across the room because I'm charging these supercapacitors down here, so everything goes into these down here, which is those down there. So those get charged up before the power gets right up there to that thing, top of the speaker. So yeah, it's easy to show you. You've seen it before anyway. So anyway, I'm gonna pack up now. I don't know how long this stream's been going for, but I lost track now. Oh, it must have been going for 2 hours. Looking at the clock, actually, I'm thinking, Jesus. So, hope you're all doing well, and I hope you stay safe from this virus. Yeah, well, sometimes you can pick up frequencies from the electromagnetic field with moving wires around, even though the microphone might not be near any actual signal. The wire picks it up, and sorry about that if it bothered anyone. Well, it just seems to get louder when I move it over here like that. But bear in mind there's also air gaps in these cores at the moment. There's actually 4mm air gaps in the middle, so that will probably contribute to a bit of noise as well. So I suppose I could close those gaps by sticking ball bearings between them, and that would act as a help. Mind you, ball bearings tend to rattle even more, they just vibrate really bad, so I don't know. I'll just have to try some smaller cores in there, I suppose. The ones already wound. So anyway, I'll say good night everybody.